So it's my pleasure to meet one of the most liked people in our industry. So Roman Fritz, nice to meet you. How are you, mate?
Oh, I'm good, man. Thank you.
Tell me,
Good to be on. Finally.
yeah, finally, we've been speaking about it for a while, but you've been busy competing and so on. Tell me, what was the weight difference between the first show you have done in 2022 and the last one?
In Tampa last year, man, I really fucked up. I think I got on stage. I weighed myself the morning of the show, 107.5 kilos. That
That's
was
really low for you.
that was the same weight I got out of the hospital at
Yeah.
when I woke up from the coma and everything. uh, Still too heavy for classic.
Yeah. What's
Yeah.
your classic cut, by the way?
I think my classic is 95 kilos.
That's not happening.
Nah.
Especially when you have that metal piece in your hip.
I think it's actually light. It's titanium and polyurethane.
Yeah.
So, and porcelain.
Oh,
So
so that might be even lighter than your bones.
mhm,
So what about the last show?
122.
Yeah, and what went wrong that you have came so low in 1.7 and a half?
Despite the fact that the last week was didn't go good, you know, I just I got had honestly I had bad gear.
How did it come? Didn't you check it, or it was it like the new batch or something like this?
Yeah, I moved and I had to switch sources because of that. And although that was a reputable source, it was it was junk. So during the whole prep, I felt like I even said to my wife, it's like for some reason, I think I'm only losing muscle and all the fat is staying. So I'm getting weaker, I'm getting softer, but I'm getting lighter.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I never for some reason I never thought it could be the gear, you know? And then at some point I was like, okay, this has to be the reason. I don't know. This is the only reason possible. So I made some arrangements. And then about 2 weeks out, I got back on the good stuff. But I was already down from 134 to about 112. Yeah. When I got the good stuff again. So the only thing there was to hold it as best as possible. And then when I got to the US, I had good stuff, set up. So, but then the whole week that just went to shit. For I lived with Justin Compton for the first week, and then with Ben Chow for the second week. They were both awesome. Okay, couldn't ask for better friends and better hosts than those two guys. So they had nothing to do with that. But the whole thing just was cursed from the start. And then when I got back home, I skipped 2 or 3 shows that I wanted to do.
Yeah.
So first I wanted to do 8 shows in a row, but after the first two, it just wasn't. When I got back home, I just felt like if I keep competing, it's just going to be me throwing money out of the window, and
What's the
I'm
point?
only I'm not even placing top 10 or barely. I think I got eighth in Tampa, but the last time I competed in Tampa, I got fourth. Yeah, so that wasn't what I was looking for. So I got back home and pulled myself together, and then I skipped 2 or 3 shows. I skipped an Italy show. I skipped an a show in France, and then another one, I don't know, I don't remember where. And then there was another Italy show. That's the one I got back into it. Placed fifth at around 115, 16. So that was, compared to the Tampa, yeah, that was 9 kilos up. And then I did the Romania show. I placed 8th, but I think that was my best look of the season. And I weighed 118.5. That was really good. I don't know why I placed 8th, but now it doesn't matter, you know. So, but I think that was my best look. And then for the last one in Spain, I went just all out. I just, you know, put an extra on the extra. And then I got on stage at 122.5. So that was the morning weight, 122.5. I was a little softer than 2 weeks before in Romania, but I was again like rounder and bigger. I like the Romania look better, but it also could have been because of the tan. In Romania, my tan was really nice, you know, and not as thick and muddy as it was in Spain. In Spain, I used a different tanning lotion, and that kind of obscured my cuts, so they weren't as deep and as accentuated than in the Romania show. It could have been that, or but I was definitely holding more water, but the more water and then the bad tanning lotion and not the best lighting made it look not as good. There's a photo from the press conference the day before the show where I didn't have the tanning lotion on. I'm just showing my legs, and they look 10 times better than on stage the next day. And the only difference basically was me putting on that stupid lotion. So yeah, I'm not gonna do that again. I'm gonna stick to the Pro Tan overnight stuff. And I tried another stage finish, whatever it's called, and that, you know, covered me up, so to speak.
Are you doing it by yourself or by the people who are just putting it on you?
That time, I'm in Romania. The tanning service was so bad, and normally I always go to the people that the service people. Yep. For example, in Tampa, it's always great. In Texas, it was more than awesome.
Because it was Denise, yeah? Sorry for interrupting. Yes, yeah, squad by the Chow's wife, yeah?
Yeah, that was great. But a friend of hers tanned me, but it was still great, yeah? So that was perfect. Tampa was perfect. For some reason, the American shows are always perfect. And then in Europe, it's a hit or miss. And in Romania, it was a definite miss. In Italy, it was crap. And then I decided in Spain, I'm going to do it myself. It looked good until we put that different lotion on. Yeah. So next time in Europe, again, I'm going to do it myself with my wife, obviously. But I'm not going to use that product. And for people to know, it's the stage finish from Pro Tan. I don't like that. The overnight Pro Tan stuff, you know, the really liquid stuff, that's great. You got to put on a lot of coats. But as soon as I put the stage finish on, I looked worse.
You remember those old Dream Tans where you were golden?
Oh, yeah.
Those were perfect. You would be dirty all over, everywhere, but those were perfect. Those will show new cuts like...
Yeah, you and it was so easy, right?
Yeah,
You just put it on once and then you shower it off. That's it. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. That's when I won the world championships, the amateur world championships. We were still using that, and I think it got banned in like 2012 or something like that from the IFBB
yeah.
because all the promoters got shit from the venues from the venue owners because the walls were all dirty and it was disgusting, right? It was a mess.
Yeah, proton is sticks way better to your body, but
Mhm.
it doesn't give you this much of an impact, including to your cuts and so on. For example, striations on the quads, it just goes deep into them, the Dream 10.
Yeah,
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 it shows them immensely. And I remember watching the Romania show. You were compared in the top three, actually, with the Brad and Behros. And
yeah.
then I was like, where is Roman? Why is he not in the top five? And then I was watching the score sheet where you were, and as you said, you finished eighth. I had zero idea what happened because firstly you're getting compared in a top three, then suddenly you're somewhere else. I was just like really confused what happened.
Yeah, me too. Because after the prejudging, I thought I was getting at the worst, at the worst, fifth. And but me looking at myself, I thought, okay, probably fourth. If everything goes wrong, fifth. And then I don't know why I got eighth, but you know I'm not going to complain. That's just how the the cookie crumbled. But I don't know. I don't know. I asked the head judge afterwards because I want to know. Because if I can improve something, I want to know what's there to improve. And she said, first of all, you look great from the front. You're an eye catcher. That's a quote from the front, but you have no back and you have no hamstrings.
I'm trying to, imagine your physique. It's not like you have zero of these. They might be your worst parts or like parts that are lagging. But I'm comparing you to the people who were in the show, and it wasn't like Ronnie Coleman's bag there. To be honest, there was still people who were lacking in the back department.
Yeah, but and another thing that speaks for me is I was harder than everyone. Yeah, but I just said thank you. Um, I'm gonna work on that, and that's what I'm gonna do. Yeah.
You are not a person who really complains when you get like uh, misjudged, so to speak, or you are not someone who is going to go on your Instagram reels or something like this and whine that world is not fair and the life sucks and so on.
No, I don't have time for that. You know, so much it costs so much. When you see people, they post their best pose and then say, "Yeah, see how I look better than all of these guys. I should have placed wherever." And I don't have time for that. I just come back next time, take it and try to improve.
Yeah, when it comes to improvements, what are your current plans for the 2023 season? Are you taking off like Antoine and Hollingshed, or are you going to compete later in the year?
So my first chance of competing would be in Brazil.
Arnold, yeah?
No, it's not an Arnold this time.
No?
It's
Oh,
just a regular Brazil
okay.
show. So that's on April 14th.
Okay.
But it is so in between, like in no man's land. I would have to get ready for a show, and then there are no other shows to, keep going. So I'm probably not going to do that, and I'll wait until I think the first one coming up is June 18th in
Which is
Spain.
in Spain,
In,
yeah?
in
Okay.
Spain, and then there are a couple shows like back to back that I can do.
Are you going to focus on Europe, or are you going to travel to States as well?
I don't know yet. I gotta check out how my sponsor situation is at that point in the year, and then I'll see what happens.
Speaking about the sponsors, you used to be like an icon of the animal. Many people followed you, Frank McGrath, Evan, and many of others who are, like created, so to speak, the legacy of the animal. What happened there that you guys aren't working together anymore?
So I was with Universal or Animal from 2013. Yeah, no, 2013 or 14. 2013 in May until 2019 in May. So 6 years. And 3 months before my contract ended, they said, "Listen, we're not gonna renew your contract because we are going to get out of Europe and we're going to focus more on other areas of marketing." And as you see, they're not in Europe anymore.
No.
There is an Animal Europe, but that's actually not Animal. So that's not the mother thing. I think that's just a distributor who buys a lot of product and calls, and they allow him to call that Instagram page Animal Europe. Yeah. They work together, I think, but it's not the mothership company. And as you can see, they got more into MMA and strongman and all that stuff. And they had no use for me anymore in Europe because they knew the other guy would take care of that. And they just focused more on America. And basically since 2019, there has not been an animal booth at FIBO.
Yeah, that sucks. By the way, FIBO is happening this year, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. Are you going to be there?
I think the company that sponsors me is not going to have a booth.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't know if they're going to have a booth. I haven't heard anything from them. And maybe I'll go there by myself. Just take a look around. Like last year, I hung out with Ron and Jamie the Giant, we trained and had a good time, but it was just me and my wife, by ourselves, looking around a little bit. Yeah.
Didn't you thought about moving to the States?
Yeah, I thought about it actually a couple of times. Right now, I'm not thinking about moving completely. I'm thinking about buying a piece of property, like a condo, and just having two homes.
Yeah.
Like one condo where I can stay at for longer, 3 months or so, to prep for a show, and then come back home whenever I want, and then just go back and forth as I please.
Yeah, I'm asking because actually you have like a gym in your home, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I think that it would be hard for you to drop, since you have at least been in the past a maniac when it comes to a training. You used to train twice a day with little of breaks. How does it look now when we are talking about your training setup?
It's basically the same. So I've been doing the twice a week thing. I've even been doing 3 times a day, not twice a week. I mean, twice a day thing. I've even been doing 3 times a day for a while, but that was and yeah, it's still the same. I'll do, for example, calves and chest in the morning, and then I do shoulders and triceps at night. I do back in the morning, and then biceps and traps and rear delts at night. And there's today, hamstrings in the morning, and I'm doing quads later.
Did you thought, I mean, I know that you probably did, but what keeps you from scaling back in your workouts? Like to a once a day, or even having like, 4 workouts or 5 workouts a week? Are you so used to that you just can't live without it?
It's fun, So first of all, I do whatever is the most fun to me, and I'm making progress. So I like what I'm doing. I don't see a reason to change. And I wouldn't know what to do with myself all day. But I wouldn't know what to do with myself probably, but it's just fun. And when I see other people train legs, for example, I have friends that train legs for 4 hours.
Yeah.
I have this one friend, he trained, the minimum workout time he does is like a push day, chest, shoulders, and triceps all in one, takes 3 hours. And then back and biceps takes 3 hours. Legs always takes him 4 hours. So why not do 2 1-hour sessions like I do and be fresh in all of them? And I just, like I said, I enjoy it. And the thing is, I'm making good progress. I don't see a reason why I should change it.
Yeah, as long as you can making progress, as you said, there is no way to change something that's working. Are you working with someone now, like being coached by someone?
No. No.
Why? Do you think that do you know your body well enough to just figure it out by yourself?
Probably not. You can always learn. Or basically, I always learn new stuff. But I have never really gotten much out of people coaching me. With a few exceptions, I've learned a lot from Justin Compton. But yeah.
When speaking about Justin, do you think that if he would have continued his bodybuilding journey, he would have been Mr. Olympia or not?
Could have been, yes.
Yeah, he had everything.
Not a definite would, yeah, but there was the potential of him being the best in the world, definitely.
Yeah, he had like no lacking body parts, and he was enormous. And actually he was like, I don't know, 20 something, 25, 26 when he was competing. So he was still a junior, basically. You are not that old right now. How old are you?
I stopped counting at 30.
So it's still, but still you're relatively young when it comes to the bodybuilding. And what does bodybuilding mean to you, actually? Because as I said, you are quite a freak, so to speak, when not many people can train for so long, twice a day and so on.
It's just a part of my life. It means a lot. It means a lot. It means a lot. Honestly, I would not know what to do if it was all gone like in an instant. I wouldn't know what to do. So I'm enjoying it as much as I can every day, and I'm not thinking about the future. Got to be honest. I'm not thinking about having to quit bodybuilding. I'm thinking about financial stuff, okay? But I don't want to get negative about the future of my bodybuilding. So because once maybe I have 5 years, maybe I have 4 years, it makes me nervous, makes me anxious. So I'm just taking I'm taking everything I can get.
But when coming back to your younger days, did you have any other like ideas, hobbies, and so on, which you wanted to pursue if there was no bodybuilding?
No, no, not at all.
That's really cool, because you found your passion, you found something that you love, and you kept doing it no matter what. Because speaking of no matter what, let's speak about your actual problems that you have gone through lately, because you had few surgeries. Maybe let's start with that. First, it was a hip replacement. Yep.
Yeah, hip replacement. Which, of course, you're nervous about it at first, because everyone basically told me, once that hip is replaced, you're done. Yep. There's no more. You're lucky if you can walk straight. You won't be able to run. You won't be able to jump. You will have problems driving a car, and don't even think about training. That's what everyone told me. And which was pretty dark time for me, because you think, well, bodybuilding is done after this. But the pain was so bad, I couldn't bear it anymore. After about a year in pain, I just said, I got to do this. It doesn't matter what. It can only be better after the surgery. So I did it. And then I felt like this is, after a few days out of the hospital, I was in the hospital for 5 days. So from the surgery was on Monday, and I got out on Thursday, and I trained. The first training session back, of course, was chest, because you can lie around. Yeah, that was Saturday. So it wasn't even a week until I was back in the gym, and then I went back on my program. The first training session was chest, and I did shoulders and triceps at night. Next day I did back, whatever I could do, like chin-ups and stuff, and then biceps at night. And then the third day was always the leg day, and I just did whatever I could do. So like a couple of calf raises, seated hamstring curls.
It was really 3 days post the hip replacement, right?
No, it was.
No, you were 3 days in the hospital, 6 days.
I was the replacement was on Monday. I got out on Thursday.
Okay.
And I started training on Saturday. And my first leg day, in quotation marks, was the Monday, so a week after. And the only thing I did, I started on the recumbent bike. Yeah. Then I did some light leg extensions, pretty light. Some hamstring curls, pretty light. Calf raises, stuff like that. And that was my whole training session for the day. Oh, I also did sitting down on the seat of my lat pull down, just sitting down and then standing back up. That was my squat, just with body weight. I remember I could do 13 reps the first time. And after 13 reps, I had to grab the lat pull down handle and pull myself up, because I had reached like pure failure. It was done after 13 reps. So that was my first workout. And that progressed. Then at some point, my squat was with 2 5-kilo plates in my hands, sitting down and standing up. And after 7 weeks after the surgery, I was pulling 190 kilos off the floor with a deadlifting. And I squatted 100 kilos. And I got back pretty fast. But then the hip got infected.
Yeah.
So basically, it had been infected the whole time. So that infection has been sitting in there. At some point, it just broke out, and they had to redo the surgery in February. So that was about 2.5 months later, I had to go back to the hospital. They had to take the whole thing out again, clean it, put in a new one. And during that surgery, I had a reaction to the anesthetic and I almost died. So that was a bad reaction to the anesthetic they used. I almost died. I was in a coma for a couple of days. That was terrible. And I had to stay in the hospital for 2 weeks. And with IV antibiotics and all that shit for 2 weeks. So all the veins on my forearms, they're gone. I always used to have really great forearm veins. They're all fucked up.
Yeah, I know how it is when you get like, IV and so on. They basically disappear to a zero. You have nowhere veins.
Yeah, but they're gone forever now.
You have until now?
No, they're gone.
Wow.
Yeah.
The blood flow is there, or everything is...
The blood flow isn't there anymore. See how swollen that hand is?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because there is no more blood flow to the skin.
Yeah, I see. It's even like it
So
doesn't have color, yeah.
Yeah, so the water stays in there. It doesn't, float around anymore. That's what I have to live with now. So with the no more forearm veins.
At least you live.
Yeah, that's one good thing. But that's now that the new hip is in for the second time, and it's going good. Yeah.
I remember when we was speaking. What did the doctor tell you when you woke up? Actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I woke up, and at that time, from the coma, so a couple of days later, and at that time I didn't know anything. I'm still thinking I'm waking up from the surgery that took an hour. Yeah. So I'm waking up, I'm thirsty, and the doctor says, "Hi, you're in the hospital. You were in a coma. You are probably going to die."
How did you react to it?
I didn't really have time to react. I said, "What? What die? I don't know. Do I have to die?" And then the nurse, she was standing next to him, said, "No, you most likely not." Then the doctor again says, "Oh yes, you're probably going to die. Yeah. But right now you're awake. That's good." Like, what the fuck? I don't want to die. Yeah. So I told her, "I'm not gonna die." I said, "I'm not gonna die. I don't want to die. I'm not going to." Yeah. And then they left me in my room alone by myself. So I couldn't even talk to anyone. I'm just thinking, okay, I'm not gonna die. I don't want to die. I can't close my eyes. Yeah. Because if I close my eyes, I'm probably going to die. So I'm not gonna close my eyes. I'm looking at the clock. I think it was 2 a.m, something like that. Or it was 2 o'clock and it was dark out. So I thought it has to be 2 o'clock at night in the morning. Yeah. So I'm fighting the sleep, and I'm still drowsy from the anesthetic. And for hours, I'm fighting to not fall asleep, like in the Freddy Krueger movie. When you die, when you fall asleep, he's gonna kill you. That's exactly what I felt like. I was fucking scared, I'm telling you. So I'm fighting sleep like crazy. I'm having all kinds of nightmares. But I think I've fallen asleep a couple times and I'm waking myself up, and it's just crazy. And all the time you hear that beeping sound from the beep beep.
Yeah.
That drives me crazy. So, and then at some point it's 7 a.m, and the nurse comes in, opens the shades, and it's at that point it became a lot easier because it was light out. Yeah. And I was able to talk to someone, right? And I still had nightmares about this situation for a couple of weeks afterwards, months even.
Are these gone now?
Huh? Yeah, they're gone now. nightmares, and I still could hear that beeping noise, in my head. It's like it was like stamped into my brain. That yeah, that wasn't too good.
And coming back from the situation like this, how did you feel when you first were able to speak to your wife, for example? She wasn't your wife yet then.
Yeah, she wasn't that at that point.
Yeah.
I felt, I don't know, man. It felt, I was in the hospital for 2 weeks. She was able to visit at sometimes, yeah, but it was a little bit of an undercover thing. Normally you can't visit people, but we kind of met secretly. I was with my crutches, sneaking out and shit. So she brought me food in a backpack.
What did she bring you? Do you remember what you ate?
Yeah, of course, what I always eat. Like she was cooking chicken and rice cakes and stuff like that. So she would come with a backpack full of food, and I had the empty backpack from last time. Then we switched backpacks, spent some time together, and then I would go back up to my room with the new backpack full of food until the next day. And we did that for 2 weeks. Yeah. She came every day, brought me food. We switched the backpacks, and then,
She's a keeper,
Yeah. So
definitely.
that's why we married. Yeah.
You're a lucky man. Yeah, but coming back to living your normal life, when you, as you said, you were still having nightmares, you were still thinking about the future. You weren't thinking negative about the bodybuilding, surely, because you said that you don't regret anything, basically. And how was it, the first workouts and so on? Were you scared?
No, because I already knew how it worked, because I had done it the first time.
Yeah.
I knew that when I got back into the gym, everything would be as the last time. I just had to, basically those 2 weeks, I was sitting in my room by myself in the hospital, just waiting to get out. At some point, it was just me waiting to get out. I was like in a jail cell, like in prison. I just was, I gotta get out of here. I gotta go back to the gym. And when I got back, again, I started with chest. It was the same day. I got back out. I got home on Thursday, but then I started training on Friday, the next day. I didn't take an extra day off. And then the first leg day again was Sunday, and it was the same thing: leg extension, leg curls, and I started over again. Just even a little skinnier than the last time I got out of the hospital.
Do you remember? Yeah, you said you were weighing 107 kilos, something like this.
Yeah, there's a video on my Instagram.
Yeah, I remember actually that when I was watching those videos and how fast you bounced back, basically, because it was really, really fast. And now, what is your diet? Did it change at all? Are you still on the high carb?
Yeah. So I didn't change anything as far as nutrient breakdown is concerned. It's just more.
How much are you eating now?
The minimum carbs is 1,000 minimum. It goes up to, basically I have to get 1,000 in, and then as much on top as possible, which changes from day to day, because sometimes I just can't eat anymore, and then some days I have a better tolerance for food, so I go up to like 1,400 grams of carbs. Sometimes it's 1,200, just basically as much as I can get. Protein is always 500. That's my mark, 500.
But 500 you don't count like from the rice and from veggies and so on. You're just counted from a meat.
I count whatever
from animal sources.
Whatever is real protein.
Real protein.
So the real protein, not the rice and like you said. So 500, and fat is whatever is in the food. I don't add any extra fats.
Yeah, you were never a big fat eater. I remember.
I've tried it, I've tried everything basically. And for my body, it just doesn't work. Okay. I've tried more fats and less carbs and same amount of carbs and more fat. It's not working for me. I've tried it a couple times, not just for a day. And for me, it is not working. And I'm not going to have anyone convince me otherwise anymore because I've wasted enough time already.
What happens when you add more fats?
So when I add more fats and cut carbs instead, the only thing that happens is, so first of all, whenever I add more fats, my digestion gets worse. And then when I do how I just said, I cut carbs and replace them with fat, my energy level goes down in the gym and I start to look worse. I get flatter and softer, but I'm not making any progress from that. I just look worse and I feel worse and my digestion is worse. When I add extra fats on top of what I'm eating, my digestion gets worse. That's basically the only thing that happens. My digestion gets worse. And then with that, my performance in the gym also suffers because if your stomach is out to here all the time and you feel bloated and drowsy and tired, you can't train. And the most important component of bodybuilding is training performance.
Of course.
Yeah. Everyone always says, oh yeah, diet is 80% or diet is 70%. Training is the most important thing.
People don't understand that there is no diet for your biceps.
Exactly. Training is the ignition switch that starts the whole process. It doesn't matter how good your diet is. You're not going to build muscle from a good diet without proper training. And especially on our level, the training has to be intense and the training has to be impactful.
Yep.
When you start out training, it doesn't matter what you do, you're going to grow some muscle at least.
Yep.
Once you're 10 years in, you really have to be on point with your training. You can't just show up and get a little pump. You have to make an impact every time. And if you don't, it doesn't matter how good your diet is, it's just waste of time. So I put training performance over everything. And if my diet is hindering my training performance, then I'm doing the whole thing wrong. Yeah. It's not about calories in, it's not about how much calories you can put in. It's about how hard you can train and how effective you can train and then feed it accordingly. Yeah.
How many calories can you use while training to damage this muscle even harder?
Exactly. That's
somewhere like this.
Yeah, and I mean, if you're eating 10,000 calories because you added 1,000 from fat or 1,500 from fat, but you can't train properly anymore because you're so bloated and disgusting, it doesn't matter how many extra calories you eat, you're not going to build muscle from that. That's my opinion, basically.
What were the biggest lessons you have learned from the season 2022? Because now coming to the season 2023, you are going to basically start the prep like quite soon, I think.
Yeah, I'm going to do, right now I weigh 129.
Yeah.
But my ass is still striated.
Yeah, I saw it.
Yeah. So if I do a 12-week prep, I'm probably going to end up too light again. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I need 6 weeks the most to diet. And if the show is on it now, today is 21 weeks out from that show, and I have basically another 15 to go until I have to make a change.
Are you going to like cruise between the shows, or just move to the another phase, like, with the supplements and so on? Because some people do it like this, like, they build some mass, they then cruise, and then they prep. Are you going to just move full in, build as much as possible, and then go to the prep for the 6 weeks? Or are you going to like have like 10 weeks of the mass building more, 5 weeks of cruise, and 6 weeks of prep?
No, I'm just right now, I've toned everything down a little bit. And at 20 weeks out, so next week, I'm going to start ramping up.
Okay.
Then I have a good 14 weeks or so to blast, if that's what people want to call it, and then go down. Depends on how bad I'm looking. I got right now from next week until that point, I have 12 to 14 weeks, to build muscle or gain weight, and then about 6 to 8 weeks to go down.
Yeah, I think it's a smarter approach, way smarter and way better than to drop, like you said, to 1.7 again. And but as you said, it was just a mistake, and it wasn't something that you could think of, to be honest.
Yeah, it wasn't in my. Obviously, I'm a person. I always look first, what have I done wrong? So my main objective is always looking at, okay, it's your fault, it's my fault. What am I going to do better? What did I do wrong? But at last time, it just wasn't my fault. And like analyzing everything, it was not my fault. Even although I was looking for it to be my fault, okay? Because I wanted it to be my fault. It wasn't.
Yeah. That sucks, because you depend on someone and you trust him, and suddenly shit happens, to be honest. Yeah. And one last question. Where from do you take your ideas for merchandising? Because those t-shirts and so on are just immense.
I just come up with shit. I have another cool one coming up. I can't tell you right now because someone else might steal it.
Don't tell.
It's gonna be funny.
Yeah. So Roman, thank you, and wishing you all the best. If you guys want to follow Roman, of course, do so. And in the description, you're going to have links to his YouTube channel. He is already making videos in English as well. So jump in, and the Instagram, and subscribe here, leave comment, leave like, and so on. Show some love to Roman. And thank you so much. Have a lot of luck. And this time, I wish you not to have anything fake.
Thanks, man. It was great to be on, and I hope we can do that again very soon. And we have to really do that again very soon. Because, people always say, oh, man, let's do that again. And they never come back on. You never see them for a second time. Yeah. We're not going to do that. We're really going to be back on maybe in a couple of weeks, couple months, or at least before the show.
Yeah, I hope so. Thank you so much.
Cool.